to dissect this virus and get the best out of it to treat it before the virus takes us. So this is, I'll start with coronavirus, which is called coronavirus because it looks like a corona. Look at this on the left side, this electron microscopic picture of coronavirus, which shows the solar corona all over the surface. That's why it is called corona. It is actually 0.1 micron, which is equal to 100 nanometer. It's like 10,000 part of a millimeter. Inside it is the viral RNA, which is the gem of this virus. This is the virus which is important for reproductions, and this is the most important thing of this virus. They want to carry in and protect it by all cost to get into a human cells like us and reproduce and continue their cycle. This is CNN News telling that alcohol kills coronavirus, but not by drinking alcohol, but by hand washing with soap and alcohol-based sanitizers. CDC recommends 60% of alcohol concentration on sanitizers usually kills coronavirus and penetrates the cell wall, which is a phospholipid bilayer, and exposes the inside RNA, which is killed within 10 seconds. There are different types of alcohols, hand wash, ethanol, methanol, ethylene glycol, isopropyl alcohol, propylene glycol. They're all helpful for washing hands and cleaning the virus and killing the virus. There are some side effects of some of the alcohols, but usually not when you use on your hands. As long as you don't drink it, usually it doesn't cause any problem. But there is a big chapter on alcohol poisoning that I'll address later on if somebody asks a question. Now, coronavirus is a respiratory virus. Look at on the left side, it is how it looks like an electron scanning microscope. It attaches to the ACE receptor on the lung cells and get inside it. After this goes inside, look at here on the left side, the coronavirus is attacking type 2 pneumocytes. There are two kinds of pneumocytes, lung cells. One is type 1, type 2. Type 2 is the one which coronavirus attaches. And look at on the left side, the whole lungs are clean, there is good air flow. On the right side, it is showing that when it starts activating all the defense system in the body, it tries to cause a lot of reactions and a lot of cell debris and a lot of inflammation that they secrete so much fluids, the lungs are drowned in fluids. If the whole lungs are inflamed, then there'll be no air to breathe. It's all fluid. That's why people get into ventilator. Now, this is a video. I'm going to show you how coronavirus comes human and gets into the system.
I just request everyone to mute yourself, please. Which thing you want? I would just like to make an announcement that the session is going live on YouTube as well. So many participants have joined there as well. So one who is unable to join on Zoom can please go to the YouTube live on ABIPA, that is Aditya Bangalore Institute of Pharmacy Education Research YouTube link, which you can just type it in the YouTube. You will get it a live session. Thank you.
Okay, now next thing is, what are the symptoms of coronavirus? In case somebody gets infected, the most common symptoms are on the left side, the fever and cough, mostly dry cough because it's mostly stays on the throat first, it taking a week or 10 days if you don't get better into the lungs. The most important is dry cough and fever. That's the most common. The second most common is sore throat, shortness of breath, fatigue, generalized body ache, and headache. And the very rare conditions like flu-like symptoms, running nose usually doesn't happen, and diarrhea. Now, what are the most common organs that is affected by coronavirus? Number one is lungs, because it's called a respiratory virus. So it mostly affects the lungs because it has the receptor called ACE type 1 to the lung tissue. So that's why it gets attached to the lungs. Number two is heart. Number three is kidneys. Number four is gut. Number five is brain. So in the lungs, it can cause pneumonia. It can cause pulmonary edema, fluid collections. It also cause blood clots. Blood clot in the heart cause myocardial infarction and heart attack. Blood clot in the brain cause stroke. Now there is a condition called COVID toes. The toes, look at this, they are all inflamed, looks like frostbite. This is because of the microvascular thrombosis and lack of oxygen supply to the terminal arteries in the toes or hands. They look like red discolorations, which will get better, but this is one of the symptoms. It came out on the paper. Now the disease stays before it gets into out of control. The first one is a mild to moderate disease. This is basically absence of pneumonia, no oxygen requirement. A patient has a fever, 102, 103 degree Fahrenheit, sore throat. These are the mild symptoms. You don't need to go to hospital. You can stay at home. Within 10 days, it get better, then you are fine. On the 11th day, if it doesn't get better, then you come to hospital. When you come, you find that these kind of people, when they are in the second week, they are not able to clear the virus. They develop pneumonia. They develop hypoxia. They need oxygen, and then they get into intubation and they are vented. There are also coagulability, high coagulability, usually blood clot on the legs, on the pulmonary embolism, on the lungs. Then the most severe symptoms that comes is called cytokinin release syndrome. This is a last stage of the game where a lot of inflammation happens in the body. It starts with flu-like symptoms, then it can go to edema all over the body, including legs, hands, your lungs, your abdomen, your brain, everything has full of fluids. Basically, the body is reacting to the virus and you are drowned on your own fluids. Then you have stroke, multi-organ failure, you need dialysis. Then last thing, it causes blood count to decrease. The lot of blood cells, WBCs, RBCs are chewed up by the inflammatory cells called macrophages and decrease the blood count. Now we'll go to treatment, but before that, let me tell you about little transmission. How it is transmitted? It's transmitted by respiratory droplets. There are two kinds of transmission on the respiration. One is aerosol, one is spray droplets. Aerosols are very small amount, is less than 10 micron, and they are just like influenza virus. They are just very thin and spread from your mouth. They don't go more than 1.5 meters. They stay around you. So people who come very close contact with influenza, they get the infection. But in case of corona, it travels in the bigger molecules. When you cough out, it goes all the way to 6 meters. So our basic principle is to stay away from 6 feet when a patient talking, sneezing, or even with you, just maintain the distance. Sneezing is the highest spread of the virus, then coughing, then speaking. There is a CDC guideline how much breath you can give, how many viral particles you can give, 20 viral particles per minute. Speaking, you generate 200 viral particles per minute. Cough, you generate 200 million viral particles per minute. And they stay in the air for hours. Now, these are the basic things to prevent the transmission. The most important is putting the mask. This is an example. Look at this. On the left side, this lady has the virus and he is not having any symptoms. So she is an asymptomatic carrier. She transmits 70% of the virus. Even if the people around her all put masks, still there is a transmission of 70% virus from the asymptomatic spreader to the other person. If the coronavirus carrier has mask, the other person doesn't have mask, it transmits only 5%. If both of them have mask, like you don't know who has a carrier, who has corona or not. So if everybody puts mask, then chance of transmission is less than 1.5%. So that's why mask for everybody is a slogan now. Now look at this, what happens in California. When this was coming first in March or April, nobody believed. They told COVID is a lie, COVID is a life sentence, it is my body, my choice, I have to work, I don't care. Look at what happened. It spread like anything. In US, it's the highest spread in all of out of the world. There is 1,000 deaths every day happening now. Today is July 30th here. There is every day for last 10 days, there is 1,000 deaths every day in US. And look at this, 61,000 cases, new cases of corona every day. That's because people are careless in the beginning and now they are realizing but the virus has already spread. Now, so there is a mask is a must. It is a slogan. Look at how many agencies are working to control it. CDC, World Health Organization, Food and FDA, Food and Drug Administration, United States Department of Health, Federal Emergency Management, United States of Environment, Occupational Safety and Health. There are many organisms are organizations are working to control this. Social distancing. This is a cartoon. I got it from our friends from India. How the social distancing, you need 6 feet distance. 6 feet here. So 6 feet away. If somebody is more than 6 feet away and less than 15 minutes of contact, very less chance of virus spreading. This is how what you need to do to avoid close contact. You don't hug somebody or handshake. You just stay away from each other, maintain 6 feet distance and bow down or wave your hand, feet tap or elbow bump. Don't come close to each other. This is another cartoon I got. Most importantly, don't touch your mouth, eyes and nose. Basically, don't touch your head. Anything you have exposed mucosa, which is mouth, nose or eye, the virus has chance to enter. The virus doesn't enter thick layer of skin. The only way you can get a virus is you put a mask and don't touch your nose or eyes, then you're fine. And every time go touch a patient or go somewhere, come and wash the hand. Don't touch your head at all. And then do these things, wash your hand, obey social distance, mask, exercise. Now, this is a professor at the University of Maryland, who is a virologist. And look at what he's telling. Okay, now look at this. How in China they have sterilized the whole city of Wuhan twice a day. But don't sterilize a human being. Don't spray this sanitizers on the human being. They'll erode your eyes, your nose, your face, have skin burns. Okay, so now we are going to go how to treat. First of all, there are 3 T's. Number 1, testing. Number 2, tracing. Number 3, treating. That's the key to control the virus spread. See, we have, for example, we have 4 types of people: A, B, C, D. A has the disease. B is exposed, like A is coming from bus station, public toilet, airport, saloon, lift, wherever, and the B is there. You're getting infected. He doesn't know that he's coming in contact with A. Then C is a tracer, like this B, who is infected from the primary source, goes to home, goes to school, goes to work, and expose all his family, all his friends. And these are the tracings. We need to trace those people to find out where this person has given to who, and this person has now symptoms or no symptoms. You need to check their house, their relatives, their contacts. This is how you do contact tracing. The other kind is D, who is like old people. They don't want to go out. They don't want to get exposed. So they basically take preventive measure and they stay at home. They are prevented. So we need to take care of A, B, C peoples and try to catch them and treat them before they spread further. Now, these are the symptoms, what we should do when patient develops a symptom or anybody who develops a symptom. Like when the virus comes to you, it takes 3 to 4 days to develop symptoms. You have fever, body ache, malaise, nothing else. You are not coughing, you are not short of breath, you just observe, stay at home, quarantine, they find you are positive. If you don't have any symptoms by day 10, you just stay another 4 days at home, total of 2 weeks of quarantine, then you are done. By 10th day, if you don't have symptoms, that means your immunity, your immune system has already killed the virus, and there is no need to be panicky. You are not going to get pneumonia or get further infection. And you stay 4 more days at home, then you are fine, you are out of quarantine, you won't have any more. And you are not transmitting also, the virus are killed. Now, the other people who by 10th day or 11th day, they're still not better and they have fever, have cough, they are not going to get better. The virus has come from the upper respiratory tract going towards the lungs. And they are the people who are going to have pneumonia, will get into hospital. If they don't get treated with pneumonia earlier, then they will be intubated and then will go further downhill. Now, who are the people who will be having problem with respiration and pneumonia and get intubated? There is a question I was doing it. It was pretty interesting. There is a which of the following patient has significant risk of developing acute respiratory distress syndrome with COVID-19? Which lab work is most important that you need to do? Decrease lactic acid, D-dimer level, neutropenia, lymphocytosis. Usually this is the correct answer, is D-dimer level you have to do. If that is high, then you know this person is going downhill. Now this is the X-ray of a patient I saw within 11 days. This is a normal X-ray when patient came with fever. We found he has corona, we kept in the hospital. Usually we keep 2-3 days and let them go home. His fever didn't get better, and he was getting short of breath, needing more oxygen, and then finally got intubated. And this is what the lungs look like, a sandstorm. Now, there was different medications tried for how to treat. World Health Organization started a solidarity clinical trial. There are 4 different medications started. One is remdesivir, one is chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine, another is ritonavir, lopinavir, another is ritonavir, lopinavir plus interferon beta alpha. There are 4 arms. They were doing research to which medicine is better. Later on, what happens? Later on, 2 medicines got dropped out. Only remdesivir is being given to the patients. Now, this is the mechanism of action, how different drugs work on corona and prevent it. Number 1, when the coronavirus comes and attaches to your lungs, there's a receptor called ACE receptor. This medication called Arbidol is mostly research in Japan, is preventing the attachment of virus to the lung tissue. Then chloroquine, hydroxychloroquine, these are the medications that prevents virus entry into the cell by different mechanism. Once the virus enters, then it uncoils, the cell wall breaks up and the inside RNA comes out. This is the most important thing. This is the most crooked thing on the virus, that once that comes to the inside the cell, it starts making copies of its own and finally makes a lot of viral particles. And this is where the remdesivir, which is the medication of choice at this time in Western countries, works. It basically prevents the virus replication. It stacks up in between the viral particles and basically embedded inside the virus particle, the RNA. So the RNA can't have a perfect RNA, can't copy further more proteins, can't have a full-fledged virus. That's how it stops virus replication. Excuse me. Then we have another medicine, the big gun is called tocilizumab or sarilumab. This is called interleukin-6 inhibitors. Whenever the virus attacks the body also attacks the virus with macrophage, neutrophils, lymphocytes, all those cells they produce called a cytokinin, cause inflammatory marker called cytokinin. There are many kinds of cytokinin, but the most important, the most harmful is interleukin-6. And this medication, tocilizumab or sarilumab, they block it. They block the interleukin-6 receptor so that the virus, so the inflammatory particles can't have a full effect. This is the hydroxychloroquine dose. They're being given in Asian countries, including India, but is banned in US. FDA revokes the emergency use of hydroxychloroquine on June. Then comes the medicine called remdesivir, approved by FDA on May 1st. This is only IV form available. You give for 5 days if to keep oxygen saturation more than 94%, if patient on ventilation, or ECMO. Sometimes what happens, whenever your lungs are fully flooded with fluids, you don't have enough oxygen, you are so hypoxic, even ventilation won't cause your enough oxygen for your system. So we put patient on ECMO machine. It's called extracorporeal membrane oxygenation. We put another machine into your hooked into your blood stream that takes the oxygen and takes the blood and oxygenate and brings it back. So you have a double oxygenation from lungs and from ECMO machine when you need it. When you get into that situation, you can give remdesivir for 10 days. But usually the course is 5 days. This is the treatment plan. When is no symptoms, don't take any medicine. Don't take any prophylactic medicine either, because they found more side effect by taking those medications than not taking it. So no symptoms, no medications. Number 2, if you are having fever, chills, sore throat, malaise, you know, and you are positive for the virus, then you come to hospital, you get remdesivir daily IV over 1 hour infusion for 5 days, then you are done. But if you get worse, you need oxygen. You need oxygen to keep at least your oxygen saturation 94%. You get remdesivir IV plus steroid, dexamethasone. You can also use methylprednisolone or salmeterol. Either of the steroids, you need to use steroid combination with remdesivir if you need oxygen. Suppose you are taking oxygen, you are not getting better, you are getting worse and worse. Your oxygen become from 2 liters to 3 liters, 4 liters, then they have to put a mask on you, venti mask or ambu bag or non-air breathing mask, that you need enough oxygen, that you are just a verge of intubation. Then you know that virus is actively replicating and the viral load is too much. You need to look for plasma therapy. You have heard about plasma therapy. What is plasma therapy? It's called convalescent plasma. When somebody has been infected with corona and they got better, that means their immune system is good. So they have a lot of antibodies in their body. And you give those patients plasma to these people for people who are severely sick, just before they're trying to prevent intubation. But after you give doing all those things, you give remdesivir IV, you give dexamethasone, you give plasma therapy, then patient still not better, then you have to intubate. Once you are intubated, this plasma therapy doesn't work. It is of no use. Then you give the big gun. The last line of defense is 4 people, one of our relatives, 3 of doctors that came on the newspaper in US, they got better with tocilizumab. Once they're intubated, they have no hope. You give this injection, it is one-time dose, and within 12 hours, you got better. Fluids come out of your lungs, your brain edema gets better. Then you are extubated in 24 hours, and you go home 3 days. This is the life-saving medicine. A lot of people in India are dying because they don't go all the way to tocilizumab. They just go to remdesivir or steroids or plasma therapy, and they leave the patient in between. They don't get tocilizumab. It's very difficult to get. Maybe government of India can get it. Then patient can be saved. Otherwise, patient dies. After all those things, if patient get better, you discharge the patient, sometimes with zithromax, doxycycline, or a steroid dose pack that tapers off over a week. You give vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, high protein diet to build up their immunity and stay quarantined for another week and then get out in 2 weeks. They should be able to get out of the isolation. Now, this is another video I wanted to show. I really find it interesting. It's the director of All India Institute, New Delhi, who is being questioned. Once you are treated, how you know that you don't have virus anymore? This is the answer.
Sir, I think you need to just raise the volume. We are not able to hear the audio.
Oh, okay. You got it? Is better?
No, it's not. It's not.
You're able to understand?
We are not able to hear.
Oh,
I think you just tried in the laptop as well. Yeah.
oh, you okay? Hold on. Yeah, you are not able to hear?
No, sir.
I have put a maximum.
Yeah, yeah, that's enough. That's enough. I think 80 is enough.
Okay. Now you do you want to try it? Are you able to listen?
No.
No. Are you able to listen?
No, it's not clear. I think better let the video go, but you just let the participants know what it is, because it's the volume is not. We are not able to hear anything.
Okay, so you're not able to listen. Okay. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to tell this. Okay. So that's basically he's telling that if you are infection, are you able to listen me?
Yeah, yeah.
Hello?
You're clear. You're clear.
Okay. So basically he's telling that after you are treated, you went home and you are in isolation. You have 2 weeks of isolation after the symptoms started, or 3 days after the symptoms subsided, then you are free of virus. Then you do testing, virus still positive, that means you are seeing the dead virus, not the live virus. And if they culture those virus, they don't grow. That means those viruses are dead. They can be picked up by the dead virus RNA for up to 3 months, but they don't transmit the infection. So you can come out of isolation. But in US, most of our employers, they don't allow people. They want 2 negatives before they go back to work. So that is a huge problem. But when they ask me what to do, I told them that there is no dead virus. You can culture them. But some companies, they take their employees back with doctor's recommendation. Some don't want. Some want 2 virus negative throat swabs after you are cured, because it is a legal problem. Your other employees might be infected and they can sue you. They can tell that, well, I got the infection from this person who was infected. He still have positivity, and we don't know if it is alive or dead. We need to culture. That will take a long time to come back. But that culture has been done. It has been published. But people don't want to listen this story. So the CDC guideline as of July 23, they have mentioned that if you have been treated and you are symptom free for 3 days, you are out of isolation. The virus could be there. It is a dead virus. It doesn't transmit the infection. Okay, now we are going towards vaccine. Now the virus, suppose virus is gone. Now you are protected. How long you are protected? Do you think you will not be reinfected? After the virus entry, the symptom starts around 5 days. The antibody starts by day 7, you have 40% antibody formation. By day 15, you have 90% antibody formation. In 3 weeks, you almost get 100% antibody formation. So people who wants to do the antibody testing, they should wait at least 3 weeks. But there are some situations where they were found that there's a doctor who died in India. It came in our WhatsApp group that he was tested 2 times negative for corona from the throat swab, but then went to hospital with pneumonia, found out to have corona and died. That because there are certain ways why you test is negative, but you still have corona. If you're early in the course, like you were too early, you are before 5 days of the symptom begins, you are too early, that your virus is still growing, is not enough to be picked up in your nasopharyngeal swab. But later on, sometimes what happens, the virus in the either is too early that you take the nasopharyngeal swab that you don't catch the virus, or it's too late. Maybe after a week or 10 days, when the virus goes from the upper respiratory to the lower respiratory tract, your virus is all cleaned here and is gradually going down to the lungs. In that situation, you need to, if you find you have symptoms and upper respiratory tract negative, then you need to do lower respiratory tract suctions, cough, or sputum collections from the lower respiratory tract to look for the virus. So either too early you do a detection, do a RT-PCR on the pharynx, or it's a little late when it has gone to the lower part of your respiratory tract, you don't catch them on the throat. These are the 2 conditions you get virus not detected. Now, antibody, corona antibody usually lasts for 3 months. What happened? This is a study from Science. New research cast doubts on the long-term COVID immunity. This was from Beijing. Levels of antibody found in a recovered COVID-19 patient fall sharply in 2 to 3 months. And there is doubt about long-term immunity. But here, they found no infection. Now, virus has been for 6 to 7 months already. There is a study done in Korea. The CDC study done in Korea in 2020, June, they found currently 6 months after emergence of the virus, there is no reinfection. So far, nobody has found a reinfection, but we don't know. You are still working on it, how long the immunity stay. Okay, now we are going to the vaccines. Let's see what happens. You treat the virus, you're looking for the virus, there is so much of going on, people are running around. All right, did we kill that coronavirus yet? No, the world economy has collapsed, but coronavirus is still there. Look at what happened. There's a free fall of economy and rise of unemployment. Big stores in, this is all in US, but in many countries also the same situation. Victoria's Secret, Nike, Gold's Gym, Airbnb, Nissan Motor, they are all closed and filed for bankruptcy. Warren Buffett lost $50 billion in 2 months. Unemployment rate, total unemployment is 38 million, 25% unemployment now. This is the effect of Corona. Vaccines. Now, the CEO of Southwest Airlines told that vaccines to save billions of dollars from reopening airline. The airlines are losing billions of dollars. They told unless the vaccine comes, nobody is going to fly, and we are losing billions of dollars. Some airlines have already bankrupt. Now about the vaccines. The vaccine a reality check. This is on the magazine Health, July 24, 2020. Everybody is praying, God, please have the vaccines. And you go to special medicine, this shows that COVID-19, the special medicine is stay home until the vaccine comes. This is genetic engineering. China released the full genome sequence of the COVID-19 in January 2020. The whole coronavirus has been completely sequenced. The genomic sequence was released by China in January, and this is how it is. Now the vaccine trials have gone to stage 3 trials. This is Melbourne Murdoch Institute, China Sinovac, China Sinopharm, AstraZeneca, and Oxford University. They combine research. Moderna in US, Pfizer in US, and BioNTech, all are working. There are around 60 pharmaceuticals are working on virus vaccines. This is a recent development. A female scientist called Sarah Gilbert is almost going to be successful on finding the vaccines. She just got awarded 2.2 million pounds from National Institute of Health in UK. She also got a government UK government gave 20 million pounds for funding. So it's very active in research and finding a solution. This is another video just came from Oxford, how vaccines are going to be by the end of this year or January 2021, the vaccine will be available. So the vaccines for coronavirus is a race. There are 90 vaccines are being developed in different countries. Mostly in North America, there are 35 institutions having the coronavirus vaccines working on that. China has 15, Europe has 15 institutions, Australia, Asia total are 15 institutions. These are the vaccines, how they approach. The vaccine basically is that expose the body to the antigen, which won't cause the disease, but will kill and protect from the virus. There are 4 types of common vaccines, the way they are making. One is virus vaccines, one is viral vector vaccines, nucleic acid vaccines, and protein-based vaccines. Let's go to virus vaccines. Virus vaccines, number 1 is this weakened virus. So you make the virus grow in vitro many cycles. After that, it loses its virulence and becomes just an antigen and doesn't cause the disease. There is a company called Codagenics in New York is working with the Serum Institute of India in Pune. They are basically trying to weaken the coronavirus after multiple in vitro grow and trying to take the virulence out so that they can use as a antigen, but to be infective anymore. There's inactivated virus. Basically, you kill the virus with formaldehyde or heat, and you get large quantity of virus protein and manufacture vaccine out of that. There's a viral vector vaccines like measles vaccine, Ebola vaccines. They put a vector and virus is still replicating virus and gives boosting immunity. And they're working on if that can be effective in corona. There's another virus vaccine called non-replicating viral vectors. It is basically adenovirus. It has less immunity, but need booster doses. There's a nucleic acid vaccine like RNA vaccine. So since corona is an RNA virus, they are trying to get RNA vaccines out of it. Protein-based vaccines like SARS virus. This is basically the outer protein, M protein of this coronavirus. They're taking the spike proteins, M proteins, making vaccines out of that. Viral particles also is called VLP that mimic like coronavirus structure, and they grow them and makes antigen like coronavirus, and that are used for vaccination. Questions, do you think vaccine will be available widely when? I think it's in 2021. And there is a last slide to show that BCG vaccine has a protection against coronavirus. If you have taken BCG vaccines during childhood, look at this. Most of the people in Africa, Asia, and countries that don't have this coronavirus spread. So this coronavirus spread, look at this. This is Wuhan in China. And these are the countries suffered with a lot of coronavirus cases, including Middle East, Europe, North America, Canada. They're all infected more than mostly Asian countries because maybe the BCG vaccine has protection. Basically, this is all about our talk. Thank you. Please find out if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really straight from the heart webinar that we had because people had many queries, many questions in their minds. I think many have already been answered in your webinar. However, we have 2-3 questions. Can we have the
Sure.
question? One question we got, the participant is asking, how is herd immunity developed?
Okay. Herd immunity means like individual people get affected that develop immunity. When whole community is affected, then it is called herd immunity. That means the whole community, whole country, whole civilization getting infected, and then they got cured. Some of them died, some of them did not die. So those people who live, they are already immune. So this is called herd immunity. It is called, it is herd immunity is the immunity of the population with particular areas. Like the majority of these people who has already developed immunity, they didn't die. So the corona will not attack them anymore because they have the antibodies. By then, will like already so many millions died. You don't want to wait for herd immunity to come. Then a lot of other people will die who don't have immunity. So it's not a good thing on this patient, on this corona, because by the time we will achieve herd immunity, half of the population will be gone by then.
Oh, okay. We have one more question. Due to COVID-19, routine vaccination schedule for newborn babies, it is severely affected. So how to overcome this situation?
Well, first of all, vaccine has not come. It may take 1 year to come. By then, we'll see how to immunize children with the vaccine. What dose is good enough to protect them. Up to certain age, you cannot have, we don't know much about how the children and the young, the newborns, how much of antibody production capacity they have to the vaccine. So we still need to find, it's a one at least a year ahead. We don't know. By then we will have more fact. We can know more by then.
We have one more question from Rajesh Rao. A few days before, Tocilizumab was available for supply to all the hospitals, but now it is only to corporate hospitals. So, is it just like are they making a group and are they running it on money, or is that really effective?
Okay, let me tell you about tocilizumab. I know at least 4 doctors who are saved because of tocilizumab.
Okay.
In US, there was an Indian cardiologist who was very sick. He was getting better but got sick. Then he was intubated. They flew him to another hospital where they can have tocilizumab. They gave this injection. It is one injection only. And within 12 hours, he got better, and 24 hours, he is out of ventilator, and then he survived. Tocilizumab is the last resort. If you give in time, then you can save the patient. I have 100% faith that patient can be saved. It prevents further inflammatory reaction on your body. The body is, your own body is not killed by corona. Your whole body is killed by your own secretions. Your body, your blood cells, your chemical reactions is so much in your body because of corona exposure that you are drowned on your own fluids. Your brain having edema, your lungs have edema, your whole body has swelling. So you give tocilizumab, which will check the inflammatory response. It won't secrete any more fluids, or it won't cause any more destruction. Whatever body fluid you had, it will automatically get absorbed, and then you are out of trouble. It is a good thing, but it is a costly medicine. One injection will cost $485, and we need only one injection. And it is availability is definitely when it came here, most of the people of color, blacks and Asian, they died because they couldn't get it. Most of the white people, they kind of got that. So basically, if you have connections, pull and push, you can get it through the government delivered to you. But most of the people who don't have connections, even you have money, you won't get it because it's a very limited supply. So it will go to who have high connections in the government officials will probably get that.
Fine, sir. We have one last question. So if once the patient is tested COVID positive and after treatment when he'll be negative, say after some months, is there any chance for him to again get affected to the same problem?
Yes, I showed in my slide. So far, there was a study done in Korea, South Korea, on behalf of the CDC, that nobody has found any reinfection in last 6 months. This disease is 6 to 7 months only, and they have not found any reinfection. But in the same time, they told it came on the Nature publication that the virus antibody stays 2 to 3 months. After that, the antibody level is very down. You may get infection, but they have not found any reinfection so far.
Fine. I think these are all the questions that we had. Now I would just like to request Mr. Shankar from Haxvio Health Services to please give word of thanks.
Hello. Good morning. Is it audible, my voice?
Yes.
Yeah, it's clear.
Fine. Yeah. Thank you. It has been a pleasure to organize this international webinar series entitled Strategies and Challenges in Treating COVID-19 Patients and Vaccine. On behalf of Viper, IPA and Team Haxvio, I extend a really hearty vote of thanks to our honorable speaker, Dr. Goswami, who spared time from his busiest schedule to give a valuable and excellent speech to us. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I also thankful to Dr. B.A. Vishwanath, Chairman Aditya Institutions, for his excellent support, valuable assistance to make this webinar a grand success. I thank Mrs. Suchitra, webinar convener, and Mr. Naragari, webinar coordinator, organizing and managing this webinar series in a pleasant manner. I thank the entire crew members of Haxvio, A-Viper and IPA for their technical and promotional supports. A hearty congratulations to all the participants for their active participation in the webinar series. Thank you, delegates, for making this event successful with your contribution. Be blessed by the divine. Stay safe and stay healthy. Best wishes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. This was really a thought-provoking session. I thank Mr. Shankar also for that valuable vote of thanks. Just one word to end this session. I think Dr. Sushant Goswami, you have given the most. The comments that are in the chat box just say that this is the best session ever heard right from COVID time. So we call it as pre-COVID and post-COVID. So right from pre-COVID, we are almost reaching the post-COVID part. So in this session, I think in this period, this has been rated as the best session they have ever heard, because so many sessions are happening worldwide. And even in A-Viper itself, we had around minimum of 50 to 60 sessions already. So I think they are just rating your session as the best one. I really congratulate from on behalf of A-Viper as well as from Haxvio Health Services. It was a very, very valuable session, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can we end the meeting, sir?
Yes.
Thank you
so much.
Good night, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all the participants.
Thank you.
You can find the feedback link in the chat box for your e-certificates. You can just click on it. You'll get the certification automatically. Thank you.
Thank you.